Welcome to another video about reframing stress using emotional stabilization as your guide. This is the last of this four-part presentation about what precedes the solid emotional ground we are seeking. Let's move on. In the previous video, we looked at a few resources in your toolkit on your way out of quicksand: detachment, gaining oxygen, and adaptability. In this video, we pivot from surviving and coping immediately after we find ourselves in quicksand to interpreting what the quicksand represents to us. I don't mean the quicksand itself, which can be, say, a bounce check because of inadequate funds in our bank account. I am referring to what that bounce check means and how we interpret it. Once we know the source of our stress, not enough money, and then interpret the meaning, the disruption to our daily routines, perhaps shame, embarrassment, we are better able to deal with it. It is like many other things in life. Let me give you a metaphor of a flat tire. We know what it is, a flat tire. We know what it means, inconvenience, a delay, and we know what to do about it, have the tire changed. So, we identify the problem, acknowledge the inconvenience, and take action to remedy the situation. I know that stress, as a multifaceted issue, is not like a flat tire. I know it comes in various forms: acute, chronic, acute episodic. I know, though, that the concept of the flat tire can be applied to more serious situations in our lives. Often, having a simple step-by-step process is a way to handle our responses to crises. I would now briefly like to refer to the work of two women. The first is Rhonda Ross, who deals with emotional sovereignty. Yes, Rhonda, the daughter of Diana Ross, and almost a spitting image of her mother. And second, Ayodele Okolade, a personal transformation coach and hypnotherapist. Let's start with Rhonda. On a TED Talk in 2025, Rhonda discussed emotional sovereignty and the soundtrack in our heads, the loops we keep open, and how the power to feel better, among other things, is within ourselves. We do this through our perspectives, reframing situations, and deciding how to translate circumstances. Ayodele, for her part, brings a different slant to the concept of cause and effect in two ways. She refers to results and reasons and cause and effect, where people tend to live in the reasons and effect parts of the equation. People have a lot of reasons or excuses, that's my word, for why things are not the way we want them to be, and they are living the effects of what someone or something did to them. The cause and result side of the equation, though, is where we can create what happens to us. We take responsibility for the results we want. We tap into our strengths, and we all have them. We just might have forgotten about them. Let's ask ourselves three questions. First, is the soundtrack in your head playing a loop of stress you didn't sign up for? Rhonda talks about the power to decide how you translate your circumstances. I like to use the term agency rather than sovereignty, but in the end, it is about being in charge of our lives. Second, where are you when it comes to agency, which essentially is your capability to choose according to your values, needs, desires? Do you find you make choices to keep the peace with others, which creates internal unrest and discord? Or do you make choices based on your values, needs, and desires regardless? And does that cause problems with others? Last, are you living in the reasons or the results area of a stressful situation? Most people have a long list of reasons why they are stressed, but often they are living the effects of someone else's actions. Isn't it time to move to the cause side of the equation and take responsibility to cause the results you actually want? Through the Paco Straws framework, you will explore ways to change the channel if it is not playing the tune you want it to play, to come closer to living with agency, and to take responsibility for the results you want. In the aftermath of quicksand, we have so many options as to how to respond. Sometimes we forget this and immediately activate the knee-jerk response. To move from survival and coping to understanding the source of our stress, we need to interpret what it means to us. A health issue or a financial crisis is hard, but what it means to you is what causes the drowning sensation. If you can detach and interpret the meaning with steadiness, you can change the metaphorical flat tire. Often the meaning we give to something, our interpretation, can be more stressful than the crisis. Think about it. Being stuck with unhelpful soundtracks in our heads and continuously reinforcing the crisis drains us of our personal power. Learning to take charge of the soundtrack and being accountable for the results we want feels much lighter. And with lightness comes a sense of control and a different set of resources. Often, lightness and control bring clarity and calm resolution. An idiom often attributed to Eleanor Roosevelt has to do with how a woman is like a tea bag. You never know how strong she is until she gets in hot water. Whether this refers to resilience, stamina, mental fortitude, guts is immaterial. I think it's a great way to think of the strengths within us that are not immediately evident, but which reveal themselves as our lives are dipped into sometimes hot circumstances. Try this. Visualize yourself as the tea bag and see how strong you get when life sends you challenges. And to end this video, I'd like to refer to another speaker on a TED Talk, Christina Costa, in 2021. She talked about expressing gratitude for challenges, in our case, not for the stress itself, but for what it is showing us and what it is teaching us about ourselves and how this could change our perception. We can conceive of challenges as opportunities to strengthen our emotional muscles. And let's not forget that tough times can make us appreciate the good times even more. Until next time, where we look at awareness and implementation, thanks for your attention.